It is difficult to bear what happened here.
You walked out of the Fade, and our soldiers found you. The only one who escaped a blast that killed thousands. And you have no idea how you survived? At this moment, you are the only threat I see.
Okay, we're about 10 minutes or so from the official end of Day 1 Gamescom. The reason I'm saying this is because there's a DJ set behind me that at any point in this interview may go off and will go off loud. Now, I normally say with our interviews, anything we do, turn the volume up. But for once on Gamereactor, I'm saying be prepared to turn the volume down. We will let you know if that thing kicks in, all right? But the reason we're here, obviously, is to talk Dragon Age. Sorry about that little intro, but I don't want someone wearing their headphones and then boom.
Could be any second now.
How's your Gamescom going?
Oh, really well. Yeah, we had our debut of our trailer this morning. We were up in the EA press conference. We've got a theater showing off the gameplay to people, and we've got a couple stations where people can actually play it hands-on.
With the briefing today, what did you guys show? What did you guys debut?
Well, we did actually about 13 minutes of the game. We showed Skyhold, which is your fortress as the Inquisitor. We showed off the war table a little bit, which is the way you'll help move around the world to the larger parts of the world, and then you'll go into a zone where you'll get missions, where you'll work with your advisors to see how the Inquisition needs to progress. Then we showed off the gameplay. We showed off an area called the Fallow Mire. It's very swampy, very boggy, lots of water, lots of undead, and yeah, we made our way through and we rescued some soldiers.
Excellent. Now, we'll talk about that in a second, but this has been capturing my eye ever since you guys released it. Okay, it's a gorgeous piece of art. Now, we'll just talk about it just briefly. Sort of like, with something like this, you want to sell the game in a single image. A picture paints 1,000 words.
Ideally, yeah.
So what can you talk about? How, was this like different iterations? Did you guys have a visual image straight away, or was it a long process?
Yeah, so I can talk about this for a while. One of the key things to go into this first was a palette change for Dragon Age. Dragon Age has traditionally been red on white, lots of that. This way we wanted to go with green, darker greens because of the Fade. And the breach in the sky is very green colored, so we wanted that to tonally correct the thing. There's a negative image of a dragon, which kind of came out and formed the basis for the image, and then so we've surrounded it with the Fade encroaching on that, which represents the breach. And then when it comes here, we wanted to show the verticality of the world, lots of that. And then when it came to the Inquisitor, we looked for an iconic pose. We also wanted to make sure the Inquisitor wasn't clearly male or female. I wanted to show, because the game allows you to choose that, different races as well, that was harder. But clearly wanted to show that the Inquisitor was not male or female, so we ensured it was androgynous as we drew the Inquisitor to make sure the proportions were basically androgynous. So this is some of the things that went into the image as we did, yeah.
Saying about tonally, yes, obviously Dragon Age was that white, red on white. And is the sort of the green tone then, did it just work for this image, or does that impact, and do we see that in the game proper?
You'll see lots of green in the game because the breach and the Fade rifts are so common in the game and so represent a part of the spine of the story. Those keep recurring. You'll see a really rich. You'll see dark greens in the Fade. You see fluorescent greens in the Fade rifts. You see all sorts of green in the game.
You guys just fell up a red.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
War table. All right. Okay. So this gives us an idea, like you said, how you progress in the regions. Explain it to us. How does it work?
Sure. So the war table is where it's in Skyhold and your seat of power. It's also in Haven, your earlier one. And the idea there is that you've got a map of the world that lets you place operations around on it, and those operations are how you engage with the world to unlock new content, unlock missions you'll go on, unlock areas to go to, and your advisors who are around you, that's Josephine, Cullen, and Liliana, they're the ones who advise you on which operations to go to, how best to use your power to unlock those. They will help you do that, and so it represents a lot of conversations, a lot of information flows around the war table about what's going on in the world of Dragon Age.
Okay, and then with that case, is it a case you can just drop in where you like, or like you said, you see things unlock, you have to gradually unlock to get to new areas?
Yeah, you gradually unlock them as you move on. So there's definitely there's a critical path to the story that gets unlocked through the war table. There's also big exploration areas to go to, too.
Okay. Now, being a lot of feedback about, well, when I say feedback, Bioware has been well renowned for well-rounded, brilliant character work. Okay? Don't worry, it's a compliment. I'm going into a compliment here. But I'm just curious to know, when you approach designing a new cast, even if it is with a franchise that's already established, what do you look for to try and define that cast and make them separate from previous characters?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we start by, first of all, it starts with the story. So first of all, we want to make sure the story's there, and then the characters. Sometimes characters were inspired long ago, and we couldn't get them into the game. Sometimes characters are written through our novels or through comics, and we want to say this is someone we can bring into the world here. And then sometimes we have returning characters, and so we bring those back. And then from there, once we've got all those, then we decide what's a great way to put a new character in. And one of the big goals for Dragon Age Inquisition is to ensure that characters in the party, characters you meet, complement the other characters. So you want to make sure you don't want to have characters that are all the same. Iron Bull is a great example. Iron Bull as a character is a very complementary character. So is Sarah, one of the elves you're going to meet as a follower. Both are very complementary to the other characters you have there. So I think complementary is a big thing that drives a lot of the selection of the characters and how they get written, everything in the game.
There's always that beautiful texture, that multi-layered facet to characters as you learn their backstory and stuff like that. Have you guys ever dabbled just to create a character that's just abrasive full on? Like someone that, even their backstory's like, I have no sympathy for this person.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, and then I think, you'll find definitely the new characters, especially Cole, Sarah, Iron Bull, they have their warts. They have things that are not desirable about them. But that's important because you have to present balanced characters and characters that some people are going to like, some people are not going to like. You'll interact with them and maybe appreciate some things. But the real power of the characters is to layer them, make sure that you can go deep with these things, understand why they're the way they are. And that's what the writers work really hard to achieve with the designers.
Player feedback's always an important thing. You guys showed 13 minutes of the gameplay today at the briefing. Were you guys like on minute 14 on the forums to check to see what the feedback was?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had I sat back down after the press conference, and about 5 minutes after I sat down, someone handed my phone because I wasn't carrying it, and already I had tweets at me about, I was standing up there, I guess, and a bunch of other folks at the company told me they were following in the forums, following on Twitter and Facebook as I was up there talking. So yeah, no, it's really important. You have to balance it. You have to make sure you're getting the right people feedback. Sometimes if you go to some place, you'll just get positive feedback. Go to some place, just get negative feedback. So you just got to go to all those places and balance it. But it's important to do that. It's important to make sure you know if you're doing the things the fans are appreciating, and then if you are, great, do more of that.
And sort of wrapping up then, what's left between now and launch? You guys, is it just vacation time for you guys?
Oh, no, lots of polish, lots of making sure the experience is as smooth as possible. The content's all done, so it's really just about polishing it, fixing those last bugs, and making sure it's the best experience it can be for all the 5 platforms.
I've got to say, you're probably the most relaxed man I've met at Gamescom thus far.
Really? Wow. Well, that's I'm hiding it well then. That's good. Yeah.
You containing the stress.
Well, I was in an interview once with some German press, and apparently in Germany I'm described as a serious man who never smiles. So yeah, so I took this as a compliment from Germany, but yeah, I do like to smile. And I feel really good about our show. I think we're putting the game out there for people to see and to play, and so far everyone's been really positive. So we'll just have to give them more. Excellent.
Well, I'll let you get on to the bar. Thanks very much indeed for talking.
Thanks so much, for sure. Thank you. Thanks. Take care.